Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today it's all about the top 5 features that I do like best in my XPeng. So basically, the last video that I published was about the top 5 bugs or needs improvement. And today I will now focus on the things that I do like most in my car. So let me just start by giving a disclaimer that I do believe that it's important. These things are not specific or individual features. Sometimes it's just a combination of functionalities in the car that provide me a feature or something that I do like in my car. The idea here is based on my experience with cars, based on my recent experience testing other cars when I decided to buy this one. These are the features that I do think they have potential. They are somehow unique, maybe not on the specific feature itself, but how it is implemented, how it works together with other functionalities. And that's why for me, it's the best ones in this car. Okay. So of course you can comment that you have you love some specific feature in your car, that it's a different brand. Perfect, because that would also be a learning curve for us, for me specifically, that I can then push to my manufacturer, sending a message to them that I would like to have that also implemented on my XPeng. So it's okay for that. So let's start with the first feature that I do believe it's the best one in my car. And in this case, I do consider that a unique feature. So of course, I may be wrong. It may be existing in some other brands, but I don't know about it. That it's the X combos. So I have already talked about X combos for a lot of time in different videos, but I need to say this again. This is the best feature that I would possible imagine appearing in a car, and I didn't even knew about it when I got the car. So for me, it was a big surprise to have this X combo feature. So for the people that do not know, again, let me just give a brief introduction of what an X combo is. So basically, this is, as someone in my channel said, these are macros in Excel. So Excel is your car and X combos are the macros. So basically, this means that you can automate or create actions in sequential order to be executed in your car in a customized way. What I mean with this is that every single owner can use an existing X combo, for instance, and then customize it to their personal taste, and then create his own X combo. And with this, you can automate or create different welcoming, comfort settings, new features in your car without even needing XPeng to deliver that in a OS upgrade. So basically, imagine this situation. We don't have dog mode, and I am specifically talking about dog mode because many people talk about that, because I do believe I don't have a dog. So for me, it's not a thing that I would consider pushing to XPeng to add to our cars. But I do understand the importance of that feature. And I do appreciate that Tesla did release the dog mode. And I believe that there are also some dog mode features in other cars. But in fact, XPeng doesn't have a dog mode. I do believe that they will release one because I already saw some images on China for that. But currently, we don't have dog mode. But you can create something very similar to dog mode in your car using X combos. Also, you can personalize several things based on triggers. So basically, what the car does is allow you to, depending on some triggers that can eventually be even a button, pressing a button, you can then execute several actions in sequential order, or even getting a little bit more in a coding way to, for instance, do if then, or while something happens, it will execute something. So as you can see, the potential, of course, depending on the triggers and the actions available, the potential is huge. And in fact, it does work good. There are, of course, while we are using, we are always wanting more, but I need to be very honest with you guys. I would love to have more triggers and more actions, because as soon as you start thinking on customizing your car and doing a bunch of things that are not here already, but you can provide by yourself and not expecting that the manufacturer releases that as an upgrade, you start thinking on several things that then you cannot do because there are no triggers or actions available for that. Let me give you a view on that. For instance, Sentry mode is not activated automatically in XPengs, as for instance in Tesla. So Tesla, you just activate Sentry mode and it will be activated every single time. In XPeng, you need to activate it every single time you want it to be on. So every time you leave the car, you should activate Sentry mode. But with X combos, as you can imagine, you can then just tell the car that as soon as you close the door, the Sentry mode will be on. But then it is not enough. So as you can imagine, for instance, myself, I do park my car during the night every single day, connected to the charger. So, and I have cameras around my house. So I do live in a detached house with a surveillance system. And so I don't need Sentry mode activated during the night while the car is charging. So I imagine a different X combo. So again, a customization of the X combos about the Sentry mode activated when we close the door, that I just check if the car is plugged into a charger, then Sentry mode is not activated. If it is not, then it will be then activated. This means that if I have my car parked at my home connected to a charger, when I close my door at night, for instance, it will not stay with Sentry mode on, spending battery, wasting battery, because it is going to be connected to a charger and it will not start. If I just park the car outside of my home in anywhere, then the car will not be plugged into a charger and it will start the Sentry mode immediately. So as you can see, I have a feature that it's not part of the features delivered by XPeng, and my feature is different than the feature that some other XPeng users have. It's more customizable. For instance, also, when I enter in my car and I attach the seat belt, the car says, "Welcome, let's roll." It says, "Hi, Hugo." It can say whatever you want it to say, and also disable alerts. It will turn on AC at your desired temperature. It can even analyze the interior temperature of the car and then define a different temperature depending on that. It can activate, for instance, the passenger seat ventilation. If, for instance, I am already using on the driver's side the seat ventilation. So you can imagine the amount of stuff that you can do with the X combos, and you can imagine that if XPeng wants, they can increase and improve much more the system, giving us more triggers and more actions. So for me, this is one of the best features inside the car that can allow us to customize our car to our preference. And I don't know if this feature exists in any other car brand or model. Okay, guys, so this is the first one. The second feature that I want to say something about is the assistant. Yes, I know some people are already turning their heads around because I am saying XPeng Assistant, because I know that sometimes it doesn't work well. I know that many people complain that the assistant doesn't understand the commands that they are asking because of the accent or whatever. I know that it's not available in Portuguese, in some other languages. My language is not available in Portuguese. It's not available. So I cannot have, for instance, my kids using, at least the youngest ones, cannot use the assistant because it is not in Portuguese and they don't know English. But I have to be honest. I had a bunch of cars with assistants, And it worked, it works, but in the way that it is implemented in the XPeng, it's the first time that I see it. And let me explain why. There are at least 3 things that I do believe that makes the system almost unique, or at least, even if it is not unique, it is very good. The first one is that you have different levels of waiting time for the assistant. You can just set up the assistant to, as soon as you give one command, the assistant will stop listening and execute it immediately. You can leave the assistant hearing you so that you can provide multiple commands, and or just you provide a command and instead she leaves the system and waits for another action or request. She stays awake and waiting for another command. So this is useful because if you want to turn on AC, open the window, and do whatever, you can just do the sequential commands and then the assistant will be executing them without you saying or activating the assistant every single time that you want to do something. So this is one of the things. The second thing that I do believe that it's very good, I would say that it can be even better, okay? But it's still already very good. That is the fact that you can talk with assistants with your own language, so normal language. What I mean with this is that in my previous cars, if I want to open a window or if I want to turn on the AC, I had to say exactly the command that the car is expecting to receive. In XPeng, you can say, for instance, I am feeling hot. And the car will understand that you want to refresh a little bit. So you can say in a different way, or even, for instance, if I say, open my window, that is incorrect, the car will not understand, but I can then say window again, and the car will understand that I just made a mistake and will correct it. So you will see while you are talking, XPeng Assistant will be writing, you can activate that or not, but it will be writing what you are saying, and sometimes it will understand the word and then it will correct that word to understand exactly what you want. So this is what they call AI assisted assistant. This means that they will, the assistant will try to understand what you want and then execute that command. So that also, it's very important. The third thing that I believe that it makes it a very nice platform is that it identifies who is asking for that command. So you can define which places the assistant will be taken in consideration. So 4 places, in this case, even if it is a 5-seater, it will take commands from driver, passenger, left rear or right rear. And every time that the passenger just asks for something, the XPeng Assistant will just say that driver asking something, and then it will execute that command, if possible, just for the driver. So if I say, open my window, the assistant will understand that it is the driver talking, and it will open the window of the driver. If it is the rear left passenger asking for the assistant to open their window, the assistant will recognize the place and will open that place only, that window only. So this is very nice because you don't need to always ask to someone to ask the assistant or to give extremely complex commands like open rear left window or something like that. You can just normally say, please open my window, and the assistant will do it for you. So these 3 things combined, I do believe that makes the system very good, and I do use it a lot combined with the X combos. So I do have the X combos, as I explained in a video before that I published. I have the X combos almost taking care of my comfort settings in the car, okay? And then I do use the assistant for the remaining commands that I want executed while I am driving. So for instance, if I want to change the driving mode, I ask the assistant to do that. And then I don't need even to touch the central screen. I don't need to release the wheel for doing my things, okay? So for me, that is very important. And also, I do believe that as soon as XPeng accepts or chooses to connect this AI assistant to the external world and do it a real AI assistant, then it would be perfect. So for me, this is the second best feature in the car at the moment. The third feature that I want to talk about, it's a combination of functionalities. I would consider that as a welcoming settings. So I know that most of the cars now currently do have this type of situation that you can record most of the things, and the car will then adjust seat position, windows or mirrors, to the desired position. I had that before, but it was called memory, but it was like memory 1, memory 2, and depending on the person that was sitting, they were pressing the button that they wanted, and the car will adjust that. In this case, and I do believe that most of the cars already do that, I know that Tesla does that, for instance, and BYD also, is adjusting the settings based on the person that in fact is driving the car or getting inside the car, opening the car. So this is linked, of course, with the account system of the car. And as soon as the car identifies who is entering in the car, it will adjust a bunch of things, namely the seat position, including lumbar position for the seat of the driver and also the passenger. It will also adjust the mirrors, the side mirrors. It will also adjust the settings, several settings inside the car, like driving modes, ambient lights, etc. It will also change the shortcuts for the central screen, so even the central screen can be different for each user. And all of that combined, it is a very nice welcoming system and functionality in the car. Together with that, I would like to join this to one thing that I also consider a welcoming, not only for the driver, but also for the passengers. That is the sound system. And as you know, each car has a bunch of speakers currently to provide the music. But XPeng did introduce speakers also on the driver's seat. And this is meant for what? So imagine this situation. I am now driving alone in the car, so I can have the car and all the sounds, and this means multimedia, this means navigation for indications for the navigation, this means driving alerts, so traffic or whatever alerts that the car wants to give you, and also even phone calls. They can be played in the speaker system of the car, as usually you have in all the cars that have a speaker and Bluetooth connection and all this stuff included. But then there is a feature on the XPeng that as soon as a passenger enters in the car detects then that there is a passenger and will change this, and it is called intelligent audio switch, something like that, or intelligent driver audio. Well, it is something like that. You can check my videos on that, but it will change the audio from general speakers. It will leave on the speakers of the car the multimedia, but then phone calls, navigation, and also alerts for driving, it will be just played on the driver's seat. What this means is that I can have privacy, because if I am listening to music and I have in the volume that I want in the seat, most of the times the passenger doesn't even understand that there is something coming out from these speakers, because it will be listening to the current full speakers of the car. And this is nice because it gives me privacy, so I can have a phone call, I can just listen to the navigation indications without disturbing anyone, I can be receiving alerts for driving without disturbing anyone. But despite this privacy, I would consider this a welcoming setting, because for the passenger, it is a very comfortable system, because he can be just listening to the music or to the multimedia. If he's listening to YouTube, for instance, or seeing a YouTube video, he can still be doing that. And if I get a phone call, or if I am having these indications for the GPS, it is not going to disturb anyone. And this is made without anyone touching any button. So as soon as the passenger sits, the car will change the audio to that mode. And as soon as the passenger leaves, the car will change the audio again to the general speakers. So it is a very nice feature in my opinion. So in terms of privacy and, as I was saying, welcoming situation. So combining the account settings, combining the shortcuts on the system, driving modes, and all this stuff that customize the drive to you, having this situation also for the passengers, it is a very, very nice feature. So for the fourth feature that I do enjoy a lot, we are talking about multimedia. And I know that on the last video that I did in the bugs and needs improvement, I do talk a little bit about multimedia when I refer to radio, FM radio, and digital audio broadcast. But that is a particular functionality inside the multimedia that I consider that is the one of the best features that I have in my car. And it did change the way that I feel when I am inside the car. So as I already mentioned several times, I do spend a lot of time inside my car because I do drive. It's not too many kilometers. I do believe that it's already a good amount of kilometers, but I am not the type of person that do a long trips or longer trips and that will increase the number of kilometers. I just do a lot of kilometers every single day to do some things and commutes with my kids, to take them to activities and stuff like that. But most important than the kilometers that I do, for instance, today I'm going now to grab my kids, my daughter, and I will take her to physiotherapy, and she will stay there for 1.5 hours. So it's 1.5 hours that I will be stuck inside a street, inside the car, waiting that she finishes and that then I can take her home again. So of course I could just lock the car and go for a walk, I could go run, I could go for a coffee shop and have some snacks. But now, when it is raining, for instance, and I don't want to leave the car, now I have something to do inside the car. And this is a game changer for me, at least. So let me explain. We have inbuilt apps and systems, not only for music, so TuneIn, Amazon Music, Spotify, FM radio, digital audio broadcasting, despite it not working well, they work, okay? So we have also Bluetooth, of course. Then we have a bunch of streaming apps inbuilt in the system. Well, not a bunch, they are limited, but we do have some. And the most important one for me and my kids is YouTube, because we do like to see YouTube. We have Instagram also, TikTok in the car. So we have all those apps in the inbuilt system. Then we have recently, it was released for the G6. I think it is still not available for the G9, but it will be for sure one day. The local media files. And this is basically, you can connect a USB stick or a disk drive over USB to the car, and you can have a bunch of music and video files over there, movies, series, music or whatever, and the car will then play it in the screen. So you have that possibility also, very easy to do. And then, of course, you have CarPlay, so Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that you can use, and then it opens a lot of different apps that you can have on those systems that you cannot have in the inbuilt system. And as I show you already in some other videos, you can have Android Auto running in the background of the system. So you can have, for instance, an app, a music app that it's running only on Android Auto. You can have it playing your music and then having on the screen the features that you want from the inbuilt system, and it will work seamlessly. So it is no problem at all to have that down. So it will not disconnect if you have Android Auto in the background. It will do whatever it needs to do. So Android Auto CarPlay gives you a bunch of opportunities, different music apps. So streaming not much, but you do have a lot of apps, gaming, etc. inside the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And those are systems that are continuing to evolve, adding more apps to it. So I do believe that they are a very nice feature. And finally, you have one app in the inbuilt system that it's the external sources. So basically, you can use the screen, the main screen of the car, as just a screen for an external device. I made a video only for that you can check. It was one of the first videos that I did, that I connected a Xiaomi TV stick to the car. So it allows us to connect devices that can be powered by the small voltage on the USBs, and that has an HDMI output. And then you just need to have a capture card, a very simple capture card that will transform HDMI to USB to connect then to the car, and then you can play that source in the screen of the car. So I show you in that video connecting a Xiaomi TV stick that allowed me to have, you can imagine the amount of apps and systems that you can have on a Xiaomi TV stick, games, apps, not only multimedia, but also streaming, whatever you may imagine, you can have on a Google device, okay? So it is possible to do. And also, not only that, you can connect, for instance, a Nintendo Switch, a gaming console. So you can connect a gaming console to the car and just play your games in the car. So I do believe that the amount of multimedia options that we have in this car is something that, I will not consider unique because I don't know, but it is not common to have all these together in a single car. So there is nothing that I cannot do inside the car, as since playing live TV, streaming service, everything is streaming service. So Netflix, Max, everything, you name it. So it's available if you combine inbuilt system, Android Auto, and external sources, for instance, and then you still have local media to be played, Bluetooth, etc., and also the normal audio platforms that are common in cars. So for me, multimedia is one of the best platforms that it's available in the XPeng cars. So finally, for the last one, so the fifth feature that I do love, and I believe that it is one of the best, it will generate some discussion for sure. But this is my opinion, and I do need to give it. It's the app itself. The XPeng app, for me, it's a game changer. So I know that a lot of people are already getting crazy with me or mad with me, but this is really my feeling. I know that many people have trouble with the app in terms of mainly on the key management stuff, so the mobile key. I didn't have any problem. Well, in the beginning of the car, yes, I even considered buying an iPhone because I had an S21. I was thinking on getting an S25 Samsung that was Android 15, and at that time, Android 15 cars, mobiles were not working correctly with XPeng. But then XPeng fixed that with the release of the new app, and it was working. I got an S25. It is working with the car without any problem. So I don't even reset the key thing. I don't touch it. It's working. So guys, as everybody that works in technology and knows, if it is working, don't touch it. Okay? So it is working, but I don't want to talk about key management. I am talking about the amount of information and possibilities that this app can provide to you. I know that BMW, at least BMW and Tesla, do have great apps that allows you to do several things. So in this case, I am not comparing with those systems. I know that it's not unique. I even believe that XPeng is more or less copying a Tesla app in some extent. But again, guys, I will say this again, everybody that works in technology knows if it is done well, just copy it. So there is no topic on that. But the reality for me is that I am coming, so I drove Audi and BMW, but at that time there was no app at all, okay? So the cars were still stupid. So I cannot say nothing about those systems now. I believe that for those premium manufacturers and brands, they do need to have very good and reliable apps for the cars, but I don't know them. And then on the last car that I had, that was a Peugeot, I had an app. I used it, but the app was only for giving you a couple of statistics and giving you some information. So you could not do much with the app, at least with my car. So I do believe that with the new EVs on Peugeot also, probably they are now able to do much more. But at the time that I had the car, or at least with that car, I was not able to do it. So for me, again, and this is my take out of the features that I have, the car that I drive, I do look at the app and I am amazed with it. The amount of things that we can do with the app is crazy good. So not only the key management, of course, but knowing where the car is, requesting it to flash the lights or to use the horn to know where the car is in a parking lot, for instance, to check the location, to send addresses to the app or to the car, to check the charging information when the car is being charged, to execute X combos, for instance, to activate or deactivate Sentry, to now with the new app to check the statistics of consumption daily, weekly, compare it with some other periods. So all that for me, it's very new. Also, remote parking, forward and reverse, opening the car, opening the boot, etc. So, for instance, one thing that it's a game changer for me. Sometimes I just park. I usually park always the car backwards. And imagine the situation that you park it in a place where you get very close to a wall or to a tree or something like that, and you cannot open the booth. You park, you leave the car, and then your kid says, "Oh, I need something from the booth." It's crazy, right? Usually you need to enter in the car, put it on drive, get a little bit forward, leave the car, go to the booth, get something from the booth, close the booth, enter in the car, reverse, and then close the car again. So it's not the best comfort way to do things. And what I do currently is using the app, I just press forward on the car just moves alone by itself forward. I then click on opening the booth. I open the booth, I take whatever I want from there, I close again the booth from the app, and then I reverse with the app again the car. So it's a very simple thing that it helps a lot in some situations, in some, and it did happen again in these 5 months that I have the car. I already did that like 4 or 5, I don't know how many times, but it does help. So I do like to have that. And though I would say that the full amount of features that the app provides you, and also one important thing that gives me more pleasure, is that it seems that XPeng is still developing and improving the app. And it's not something that, for instance, I had my car, my Peugeot, for 8 years, and during the 8 years, the app was exactly the same. It didn't do anything different, anything. So, as I say, I have this car for 5 months and I already saw 3 versions of the app with different functionalities. And for me, this is very good and gives me some, the idea that it will be continuing to develop, to increase the number of functionalities and the things that we can do with the app. So this makes me then believe that this is the 5th best feature that I have from the XPeng cars. So guys, this is it. This is the video that I plan to do while we are here returning to my normal drives. So I am getting back. I had a couple of days off, but I am getting back again to my normal routines. I will still have my holidays, but I am already doing the normal stuff, so taking my kids to their stuff also, and I will resume back recording while driving these routes. But the idea for this video was just to complement. I was not able to leave just the 5 top bugs or needs improvements without saying good things also about the car that I do love, that I am still enjoying a lot, driving it, and it's giving me pleasure that I didn't have with a car for a long time. And that's why I wanted to do this video also. I do believe that this video will not be as interactive as it was the other one, because usually people over internet does like to or prefer to talk about negative stuff than positive stuff. But anyway, I challenge you guys to let me know which features you do prefer in your XPeng. And if you don't have an XPeng, if you have a different brand, just let us know also what are the top features that you like in your car, so that, again, as I said in the beginning of the video, we can then even brainstorm a bit as users, as owners of cars, as users of technology, and then push back to our car manufacturers ideas for features and functionalities that we would like to have in our cars. So you are challenged to do that, to leave the features that you love most here in the comments, so that we can discuss on top of that. And guys, again, please leave your like if you like this content, leave your like, leave your comment, generic comment, just share your support with the channel. Again, if you are not subscribed, do subscribe. I still have 70% of viewers of the channel that do not subscribe the channel. So it is a lot, knowing that only 30% of the users are subscribed to my channel. It's crazy to know that. I know that I am in a channel that it's very niche oriented on XPeng and EVs. But guys, if you are enjoying the videos, just subscribe the channel. It will help us grow and reach even more users. And that's it. So thank you very much again for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.